It's time for Real Talk with Brian and Dan, the weekly talk radio show dedicated to discussing important real estate topics, plus insight into the local community. With a combined experience of over 50 years as local real estate brokers from the Eastside Real Estate team at Keller Williams Realty Bellevue. Here's your hosts, Brian Levitt and Dan Edwards.
Well, good afternoon. Welcome to Real Talk with Brian and Dan on 1150 KKNW. It is Wednesday, November 6, 2019. We're glad you joined us today. Today, we are live streaming via YouTube, so check us out on the 1150 KKNW YouTube channel. If you'd like to listen to past episodes, you can find our podcasts anywhere that podcasts are found. And additionally, you can find videos of our broadcasts on the eastsiderealestateteam.com's YouTube channel. All right. If you like what you hear, please do subscribe on the link below. And check it out. Today, we have a great show, Brian. We've got Noah Garut. Did I say that right? Yeah. Okay. All right. Noah Garut from Forum Social House and Paul Rosenwald, along with Wes Buckwalter of Sea Monster Studios. Before we get to our guests today, though, it's time for some Real Talk. All right. So today's topic is where are the best places. I was waiting for the music because that just kind of cues me to go. Today's topic is where are the best places to live in Seattle. Folks, maybe moving into the area for the first time. And if you're like me, whenever I'm out there traveling around the country, people will ask me, which is not often, but every now and then, will ask me where I'm from. And it's hard for me to say I'm from Sammamish because they have absolutely no idea. Nobody's heard of Sammamish, right? Maybe a few people. But I always say I'm from Seattle. Even if I say I'm Bellevue, they don't quite know. So what we wanted to do is folks might be, this time of year, doing some research, considering where in Seattle should we live, what kind of areas in the greater Seattle. So Brian and I are going to break it down and give you some general thoughts of areas of the Seattle. And we're going to start kind of with a commute time of 40 minutes or less. That's kind of our gauge. Anything outside of that, we'll be doing other podcasts, and on our YouTube channel, you'll be able to find more details. So why don't we start from west to east, Brian?
Yeah, let's start with downtown. There are many places in downtown Seattle with both homes and condos and townhomes. Seattle Central, downtown Seattle, Belltown, Queen Anne, Capitol Hill, Central Seattle, Magnolia, Madison Park.
Yeah, these areas really comprise that very central part of Seattle.
And that's the shortest commute, but also it's going to be the highest
price.
median price. Yeah, median home price in these areas is $645,000 to $850,000 for condos. And single family, $925,000 to $1 million.
Most of those neighborhoods are very walkable. Right. Most have quick access to transit. That is Seattle. So Lake Union, folks that are working in Amazon, they're going to be right down there. Yep. Most of the big high rises, the Columbia Tower, that's all in downtown.
Right.
Now north of Lake Union, and that's the lake that's kind of in the center, really picturesque lake that a lot of pictures of Seattle are taken. That is going to be Ballard, University District, Lake City Way, and Greenwood. And the home prices there are right around $750,000. Right. North of that, so north of University District, Northgate, you go Lake City Way, Shoreline, Mount Lake Terrace. Those are a little bit more neighborhoody areas. Is that a word, neighborhoody?
Neighborhoody, sure. Why not?
And the prices there, about $650 to $750, so not a huge drop, but maybe a little more spread out, and your commute time there starts to grow. Obviously, a lot of people, if they're going to commute into Seattle, they're going to take transit, or they're going to pay a lot of money for parking downtown.
Right. And there's really good public transit, and the light rail is extending to those areas.
Yeah, as you're heading north, there's a line going from the University District all the way up to Linwood, which is directly north of Seattle.
And don't forget, we have a tool that we can use to tell you exactly what commute types are expected to be from any place.
Yeah, on our websites, yes.
Yep.
So now if you go north, I mentioned Linwood. Well, there's Linwood basically is when you start to get into Snohomish County. So you've got Edmonds, then Linwood, Everett, Mill Creek, some of those areas. And those prices are generally around $400,000 to $600,000.
Right. I even see some new construction in that upper end of that range. So there's some really nice opportunities.
Yeah.
So Dan, don't forget West Seattle.
West Seattle.
Looking
now, quick story on that one is it took me 3 years before I realized there was actually a place west of Seattle that was part of Seattle. That's West Seattle.
Yep. So if you go south of Seattle, you have more affordable neighborhoods like Columbia City, Skyway, White Center, Beacon Hill, South Park, and Georgetown. Those prices start for something decent about $595,000. I just sold one there, and something I was really taken by is there's so much redevelopment going on.
Gentrification.
Yeah, that can be good or bad depending on how you want to look at it. Yeah. But seeing you drive down the street and on every block there's a house or two being renovated.
Well, from like Columbia City and Rainier, the Rainier Valley is the light rail runs right through that.
Right.
I helped a client get in there in that area, and they hop on the light rail there. Mm-hmm. And right now they're building also a light rail that's going all the way out to the Redmond Microsoft campus. Yeah. So essentially you can get through Bellevue eventually. That's not complete, won't be complete for another 2 years, but that's what they're working on. All right, so that's south. After that, after you get out of the city limits south, you have cities like Burien, Des Moines, Federal Way, and down there is where it starts to get more affordable. Again, as you get further away from the Seattle center area, you're seeing affordability go up. They're more affordable, prices are lower, but your commute time increases for sure.
Right.
Let's talk about the east side a little bit. So that's all Seattle. That's all west of Lake Washington.
Right.
And even though we're not considered part of Seattle, we always feel like the east side is part of the greater Seattle area. So, Brian, why is the east side so popular?
I think a lot of it has to do with schools, and there's a lower crime overall.
Right.
But I think it is a farther commute if you work in Seattle proper, but it's a quality of life issue. There's no right or wrong. I mean, you look at like a lot of the neighborhoods, Green Lake, Ballard, the walkability is better than most east side cities, but it's what you prefer.
Yeah. I mean, Amazon has campuses both in Seattle and here in Bellevue. Mm-hmm. So commute times, people live in Seattle and commute to Bellevue, right? People live in Bellevue, commute to Seattle. Right. So, it's just a preference. And when I lived in Seattle, I swore I'd never go to the east side. And here I am. I've been on the east side 19 years, and I love it. So let's quickly just work through some kind of price points. In the future, in future podcasts and stuff, we're going to go into detail. But if you start on the east side in the north, you've got Bothell, $650,000. Woodinville, median home price, $840,000. Kirkland, $775,000. Redmond, $842,000. And then Bellevue at $888,000.
And you have Sammamish at $975,000.
Yeah, we thought that was weird. Why is that so high?
That's all the new construction.
Right.
Most of the new construction starts at about 1.2.
Yep.
And so that kind of skews it. You can buy a nice entry-level home in Sammamish for $550,000.
Brian and I have both lived in Sammamish him for many more years than
25,
me.
Yeah. Then Issaquah, $659,000. And these are all the median purchase prices, median prices. Newcastle, $837,000. Renton, $495,000.
Yeah. So your affordability shows up there. So, finally, Mercer Island, all on its own. It's an island of its own, and currently the median home price there is $1.5 million. Now, there's many more details that we can get. In our short segment here, we couldn't go into as much detail, but we will have future podcasts as well as future videos on our websites that show the details in the neighborhoods. And, of course, if you're interested, feel free to reach out to Brian at our website at website is the eastsiderealestateteam.com. And that concludes our Real Talk segment. Yeah, so great.
We'll be right back.
Oh, you have a whole segment.
Oh, I do? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if you're interested in this and other topics we've covered in our Real Talk segment, check out our blog, eastsiderealestateteam.com/blog. If you'd like to talk with us directly, Dan, I think you covered this, dude.
I know. Yeah. Sorry.
So I jumped on it. Stay tuned after the commercial break to hear more about the market from Michael Burdick, a loan consultant with Loan Depot.
We'll see you in a second.